Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea podcast. We are covering Freaky today, which, for those who aren't familiar, is kind of like a Freaky Friday horror movie, which is pretty cool. But before I go off to the summary, what tea are you drinking today, Jess?
Well, it's kind of late tonight. We had to switch around our recording days, so I'm going to go to sleep after this. I got Tazo's Calm Chamomile Tea.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yes, very floral, light, fresh, relaxing.
I'm doing it's like I had been drinking like chamomile and stuff in a lot of our other episodes. I'm like, I want something different. So I'm doing the traditional medicinals turmeric tea. So yeah.
Sounds tasty.
I like turmeric tea.
Turmeric also has a lot of health benefits. So if you guys haven't already heard about some of the benefits of turmeric, I have posted a few things on our page about it as well on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. So be sure to check those out.
And if you're old and have arthritis like I do, you like turmeric because it doesn't make you hurt quite as bad.
You're not old, you're just weird.
I'm just weird. My immune system is weird is what it is.
No, not really.
But anyways.
Yeah, she has this weird thing. Her body's attacking her for no reason. It's all good.
Yep. Yay. But
the movie.
Yes. So Freaky. It's pretty much exactly like I said with a Freaky Friday horror movie, but the killer stabs the main character and they switch bodies at midnight. And it's just her trying to convince her friends that she's not the killer. Yeah, because from her sketch drawing, they're like, oh, he must be the killer from the composite drawing. But it's just the adventure of them, like, finding her body and getting them to switch. That's pretty much all you need to know on the summary. It's pretty straightforward movie.
It's like Freaky Friday or Hot Chick.
Yes.
With horror.
It's kind of a combo, to be fair.
Like, it's really funny and definitely pretty spoofy. It's a comedy horror, but it's darker than, like, Hot Chick or Freaky Friday.
Well, and I was so surprised to see, like, Vince Vaughn in a horror movie.
Great.
But then, like, watching him, like, you know, act like a teenage girl, I'm like, that's why he's in this movie.
Yes. He was the butcher, which is what he's credited as, for all of, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Movie total. So, I mean.
But the things I want to say about that are in the entertainment scale. So,
yes.
So, entertainment. This movie, like, as soon as it ended, I'm like, I want to buy this movie and I want to, like, watch it again. But it's like, I always pit the classics as like an 8, like the ones I automatically go to. I'm like, you know, I really want to watch this movie. It's not quite that for me. So I would give it, I mean, it's a solid 7.5 for me. Like, this movie is super entertaining. There's some one-liners, like some insults that you're like, we were both like, dang, like we had to pause it, rewind it, and
well, half the time we were laughing so hard for the first half of the insult that we didn't even hear the second half. So we had to go back and really struggle to hold in our laughter so we could hear the second half.
Yes, like, this movie is so entertaining on so many levels. Like, the kills are so over the top and hilarious. And then
it has, like, stereotypical kind of almost 80s.
Yes.
For the kills on some of them. And it's just
like, some of the kills aren't even, like gruesome. They're more like, they're just hilarious. Yeah.
Some of them aren't even feasible, but we'll get to that in the realism.
Yeah. And my biggest beef with this movie is I felt the stereotypes were a bit over the top. Like, she had a gay friend, and he was like the everyday gay stereotype that you think of. But it's like, at least they built him up enough to where he was a very lovable character. So it's, yeah.
You really didn't want him to die.
Yeah, and he didn't.
You were saying during the movie, please not the gay one, please not the gay one. Because we're really bad with names, guys. It's not as bad as it sounds, I swear. We're just really bad at names.
And yeah, they make all of the... It's interesting because all of the people that you're supposed to love, it's really easy to love them. And then all of the people that you hate and you want them to die, not only do they do a really great job with you hating them, but they actually pay off and kill those characters. So it's just like super satisfying.
In inventive ways.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. Like, it's... This movie is a fun, wild ride, I have to say.
Yes. I would definitely give this one a 7.5 as well. 100%. Will definitely rewatch this movie. So glad we found it. It did come out last year during everything. So it didn't really get the hype that I feel like it really should have deserved. But understandable considering everything. If you haven't seen it already, go watch it.
It is funny.
Find it on some streaming service somewhere and watch it. It is, we're gonna tear it apart in the realism, but entertainment wise, this movie was great. I feel like the stereotypes weren't near as bad as the latest Black Christmas.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, there were some cringy moments, but that's mostly because I worked in retail. But it wasn't near as painful to watch in certain scenes.
I think it's because what Black Christmas did versus what this movie did is this movie took a stereotype, and even though the stereotype was way overdone, they had it complement the character, I think.
And I feel like they did it in a funny way.
Yeah.
Christmas was just over the top to be over the top.
Yeah, and I guess to be fair, it does seem that in a lot of comedies, it's pretty typical for them to choose stereotypical or stereotypes of characters. And it's just, I think it just creates more simplicity in like setting up jokes and stuff like that. But I didn't feel like they were exploiting the gay character. I mean, he was...
No, not really.
Pretty flamboyant and made like some comments, but it's not like, I don't know. It's like after they got established, I didn't feel like it was obnoxious.
No. If anything, I thought it was funny. The certain things that they would put in there, like his license plate.
Yeah.
Hey, bitch. They had some other jokes that they set up because he was gay later on when the mom walks in from her job early and the killer in the chick's body is tied to a chair in their living room. And he's trying to play it off as, oh, it's role play. I didn't want to tell you this until I was ready, but I'm straight. And the mom's like, you're a lot of things, but you are not straight.
Well,
just calling him full on his bluff.
And it is super interesting, though, how, and I don't know if it's because they weren't comfortable with the types of characters that they had or what, but it's like there were some characters that were played like fairly realistically, while others, like the gay friend, is just like super over the top. And it's like, yeah, there are some people that are that flamboyant, but it's like, it's not, it's like, come on. But it's just kind of weird. It's like, it would, I think the gay friend would stick out less if everybody was a stereotype, but it's like all of them seem to be pretty normal-ish, but then like him is like, but
like He was just missing a little bit of glitter and a neon sign.
Yeah, like, I mean, the way he dressed, the way he talked, the way he walked, like, his car, like, everything they, like, decked out for this character. It's like, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the things that he would say just...
No, he was...
on point.
An extremely lovable character, and you just, like, rooted for him.
When they're running from Millie when they first switched right off the bat. You're black, I'm gay, we're gonna die.
And I do like that this movie, you know, the fact that it was a comedy, they were able to play on, like, the horror stereotypes, like, you know, like with the deaths and then that comment, and yeah, it's really funny.
It was great.
And I think that also, like him saying that whenever they're running away initially, that kind of set up the tenseness of the scene on when he was actually watching over Millie's body and the killer got loose and was coming after them. Then you're like, oh crap, the killer is actually coming after him. Is he going to die? But no, he lived.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't kill off any characters we didn't want them to.
Yes, and that's fairly rare in movies like these. Even in the comedy ones, they usually do still kill off at least one character that you really like. And you're like, dang it, really? You had to kill that one? This one actually did keep them alive, thankfully. And the ones that you're like, okay, yeah, them next, please.
Yeah.
The movie's like, as you wish.
Yeah. Yeah. But nothing too much. The movie seemed fairly focused. I didn't really feel like it sidetracked much. The only time that it kind of slowed down for me was when they're trying to get the knife and they're trying to work around the sister who was a cop. I don't know, that whole scene kind of slowed down a little bit for me, but I mean, overall, like, very well done as far as, like, pacing and, but honestly, I hope Blumhouse does more comedy type movies, because
this was great.
Because whenever they do scary, I'm sorry, but it's like a toss up on, like, whether or not it's going to be good. But, like, this comedy one, like, the fact that they, like, worked with the cheesiness and trying to be, like, somewhat horror, but then, you know, the cheesiness of it, it was a good mix.
Definitely. Absolutely. So let's hope we see more from them in this genre, because if they can push out more like this, they're going to be doing pretty well for themselves.
I mean, they are already doing pretty well, to be fair.
But like you said, with the full-on horror movies that they make, it's real hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Either it's really good and we really enjoy them, or we're like, why did you do this?
Yeah. Yep.
You have failed me. Why did you do this?
Yeah.
But shall we move on to realism?
Yes. So,
You first.
realism. Oh my goodness. This is probably going to be one of the lowest ratings. I'm going to give it, like, I'm going to give it a 2. But I think even giving it a 2 is very generous. Because not only, and I'm going to leave it up to you to harp on any details that I leave out, but not only did...
I'm a picky person, come on.
I feel like they didn't get basic life details right. Like, the way that high school operates. It's like, okay, so high school has, like, a cryo chamber, and then the teacher was, like, way over the top mean to Millie, like, to the point where she could talk to someone and get him at minimum suspended, but, like, at maximum, like, fired.
Well, and she didn't even have to be the one to report it. Anyone in that room could have reported it as a witness.
Yeah, like, that was way too crazy. And there's something else that happened in the high school. Oh, yeah. whenever
Which one?
whenever the killer is in Millie's body and he's going to kill the teacher and he goes to stab the teacher like defends himself and he's like, "You're going to the principal's office." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I would call the police. I think that's the more appropriate thing, not to the principal." Yeah, it's like, what the heck?
And since she has a weapon like that, it's technically assault with a deadly weapon, which is worse.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like of course the deaths are, because they're way over the top, are super unrealistic. Yeah, I can't really think of. Oh, and then I know we were talking about like the evidence locker. Like they literally had just an evidence locker and we're like, "We're sorry."
It looks like one of those propane cages, and they had it shoved against the wall.
Yeah, it's like
It had a padlock.
even if it's a small police precinct, they would have it at least in a closet. They'd have it all categorized and organized. And typically, if not required across the board, you should have a sign-in and a sign-out sheet for it. And there's a lot more regulation than, oh, it's against the wall and it just has a padlock on it.
Bag and it's going to be tossed in a cage with a padlock. That we have the keys on a hook on the wall.
Yeah.
For anyone to grab.
And then the last thing I'll harp on before I give you the microphone is and this is my complaint with all like body switch movies, is I don't believe that the friends would believe the crazy person that's like, "I'm actually Millie and I'm in his body." It's like, it doesn't matter how much proof. It's like if you ever so happen to get in a situation where you switch bodies with someone, you're pretty much screwed. Like you're on your own. So,
unless you have some pretty out there, very gullible friends.
Fair.
Is it my turn for the soapbox?
Yes. Go ahead. It is yours.
Okay. So I will preface this by saying I loved this movie. It was really, really fun to watch. It has almost no realistic qualities whatsoever in this movie.
But that's what makes it so fun, though, to be fair.
It is very fun to watch. You don't really feel sucked into the movie, or at least I didn't, because every 5 minutes I'm like, bull. I'm calling bull on this.
Yeah.
But it was great and entertaining and very fun to watch.
Yeah.
Now, I do wonder why they didn't switch immediately. I know movies got a movie, but be consistent. When he first stabs her, it takes a couple hours, enough time for her to go get checked out and get bandaged up and then give a police sketch to, I might add, one of the best sketch artists I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's some composite sketches that look really funny. Yes. Like, have you ever searched them? Some of them look really bad.
How many police sketches that you've seen actually look really, really close to the actual person? And I get it. I really do. Like, because usually once they get the sketch artist there, a lot of time has passed and memories work kind of weird, especially after adrenaline starts coming down in their body and all. You remember things differently.
Yeah.
And that's usually why the sketch looks fairly different from the person themselves. But that was a damn good sketch. So kudos, still calling bull, but kudos on that. But has plenty of time to give a statement, give a sketch artist the description, and then get home, calm down, and actually get some sleep.
Yeah, I would not. Yeah, I would not be sleeping if I got stabbed.
No
like,
sleep
yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
But she goes to sleep at midnight exactly, and the killer happens to be asleep at midnight as well, and they decide, okay, soul switch time. But when she stabs him to go switch back, it happens immediately. with no sleeping involved. Bull. So yeah, on the kills, we're calling bull the entire time. When she shoves the teacher on the table with the saw, his body would not have slid across it.
And the fact that he just like laid there and was like, so she was like,
You're that easily, and with her size and strength, she would have had to really force it and all, and it wouldn't have happened that way.
yeah.
Or that smoothly. It's just not going to happen. And the cryo chamber in a high school, in a small town like that, no. But even if there was one in there, which there wouldn't be, it would have had safety features and wouldn't have gotten that cold. It would have shut itself off. Even if the door was, closed with the crutch, which I'm also confused why it was there. But
Yeah.
random crutch, because movie's got a movie. And it would have shut itself off. Those things have a ton of safety features. And it wouldn't have been unattended anyway. I'm pretty sure. It would have been under lock and key. It wouldn't have been accessible like that. Even if it was, putting all that aside, when the body fell out, it wouldn't have shattered. We looked it up. We were disappointed as well. It's a very dynamic kind of thing, which you do see a lot in movies and TV shows and all, but apparently that's not actually how it works, which is sad.
And you like really dug for information too.
I've been wondering that though. I've been curious, and to see it in this, I'm like, okay, you know what? No, I have to know. I have to know definitively, once and for all. Is this a thing? And apparently it's not a thing, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, they said that if a piece of meat has been frozen and it had bone attached to it, then it won't froze it. But they did make it sound like it. Yeah, they made it sound like it breaks off in chunks. Is that?
It could, but there's also been some tests that it like bounces. So
Could you freaking imagine just being like, yeet, and then it just starts like bounces up? That's horrible, but kind of hilarious.
Hilarity of the scene.
Yeet, and then like hits you back. Just like
Yeah. Also, there was a murder of 4 students in a nearby area, all of which went to that school, and the school is still in session. Also, how do you get alerts like that to your phone about local murders?
yeah,
I would appreciate those kind of notifications on my phone. Those would be fine. But it's just not really very realistic there. The reason why we harped so much on the evidence locker is because if any of the evidence is tampered with, their case could be thrown out the window completely.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Like, they don't just bag it up and put it off to the side and call it good.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of testing and backing it up. Everything has to be completely cataloged and organized, because that evidence will be viewed by both sets of lawyers, then the jury, then the judge and all. And if it's tampered with, your case is screwed. It's just, they're not going to put it in a locker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unorganized.
Like, they're going to track everywhere that's been, and
Yes.
yeah.
And who has access to it at all times.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have the key on a hook on the wall for anyone to grab at any point in time.
Yeah.
Also, the incompetence in general of the cops, it bugs me and irks me so much in each movie that we see it in. I know it's a small town, but that means they have to be on their game that much more.
Yeah.
Because they're a smaller force. So them running to the car out of the school, and the cops running after them, but not immediately trying to get a license plate, make and model of the car, while running to their vehicle to pursue as they fled? No! No! Then they get to the department store after saying, we can blend in there. He double parks. Away from every other car ever in the parking lot. They run into the department store with other people milling about and shopping. No one notices the hobo killer with the two teens that should be in school running around in a panic, in a clear panic. No one says a thing at all. I'm not buying it. And also, when the kids are having the impromptu party, as they always do in these movies, in the abandoned location, this time it was a mill. When the cops go into the location, not a single teen ran. The cops were in the middle of a pack of kids dancing and partying. Half of them were drinking.
Yeah.
And not a single one of them fled. I'm calling serious bull on this. They didn't run until one of the cops fired into the air.
Yeah.
Which is also against the law. But still. Because what goes up must come down. It's unsafe.
Yeah.
And not proper gun safety. So the movie in general is just not realistic. And I was saying throughout the entire movie that I hope the CSI people that they have getting all of the evidence after the fact at the crime scenes, each of the many, many crime scenes, are as incompetent as the police force was in this movie, because her fingerprints, despite her not being in her body, are on everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything ever. So this case would not be wrapped up in a neat little bow like they're hoping.
Mm-mm.
Because none of his DNA or evidence would be on the vast majority of the items.
Yeah.
It would be hers. And in a court of law, that's what they're going to look at.
Yep.
Is she was in those locations. It was her fingerprints on each of the murder weapons. It's all her. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a really big problem.
So I wonder, since he died, if they just aren't going to look at that evidence at all.
There's still a proper procedure to things, and they still have to file all the paperwork and everything. They need to do their jobs. They need to verify everything. So it's not technically an open and shut thing, unfortunately. We were also wondering, since toward the beginning of the movie, when they were distributing the best police sketch ever of a suspect, they mentioned that he was criminally insane, which they've done extensive studies and everything on brain chemistry and actually sometimes the brain shape even of people with disorders kind of like his and the imbalances in them. And it really does alter the way you think and feel and everything. And I'm wondering how physically it didn't affect her when she was in his body. Especially since later on, even if you try to discount it as Movie's Got a Movie, he mentioned to her toward the end that he felt her anxiety, which also tends to be a slight chemical imbalance. Can't really help it. But if he feels hers, then how does she not feel his?
Yeah.
Movie's not realistic. Super fun to watch. Not realistic. I give it a 1.5. I still feel like that's a little generous, but I'm giving it a 1.5.
Yeah.
Fun though.
Yeah, it's like, it just goes to show you that a movie doesn't have to be realistic to be enjoyable, but if
You gotta you gotta be able to talk. You gotta suspend reality while you're watching it.
Yeah, but there wasn't I do agree there was a point where it's like, it was so unrealistic that it does kind of take you out of the movie. Yeah. But also for me, though, not a lot of comedies suck me in. It's not like a horror movie or a dramatized movie where it's like I get sucked in, I kind of like forget, my surroundings. With a comedy, I pretty much know where I am the entire movie. I think that's just kind of the nature of it.
Well, yeah, it really depends for me on the movie. Sometimes I get sucked into the story itself. But most of the time, it really depends on the movie. There are some that I'm like, I could take it or leave it. I can still do other things while listening to it and still get a lot of enjoyment out of hearing it while I'm doing those other tasks, but it doesn't really draw me in as much.
Yeah.
This one, you want to watch it.
Yeah, I will say that the end scene where she is about to stab him to switch back. That whole like scene when they're like, we have 13 minutes left. That was pretty intense. I was just like here like, come on, hurry up. Like, how are they going to do this? I think it was kind of stupid thing. They were like, oh, we actually have 5 minutes left. I hate when movies do that. It's just like, and then
that was a little bit of a cop-out.
And then as the thing was beeping, though, we're like, it's not too late. Stab her anyway. Like, stab her in the leg. Like, do something.
Well, I mean, even if you don't technically know if it's too late, why not give it a shot?
Yeah.
Already down.
Yep.
Or he, at that point. Already down.
Pronouns.
Stab away. Pronouns.
But
I love that she griped at them for that. The best friend, the chick. Yeah. At one point, they were discussing the two and their plan and everything, and they just kept saying the wrong one. She's like, pronouns.
I might use that in the future, though, because it's such a quick, like, watch yourself type of phrase without being, like, insulting or, like, angry or anything. Just, like, pronouns. So it's like, oh yeah. It's like, crap.
Small reminder.
Yeah.
It was great, though. I highly recommend this movie for the entertainment value, for sure.
Yes.
It's not realistic. Please don't take any part of this movie whatsoever as realistic. Ever. Please. But it is a super entertaining movie.
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth the watch. There are some pretty cringy movements, like especially when Millie is in the butcher's body and she's in the dressing room talking to her mom. That was just painful. But overall,
especially since we both worked retail, and usually it's the other way around. Usually it's the customer that's the super overshare.
Yeah.
And the employee can't get away.
They're forced to listen.
And basically be a therapist, and they're just sitting there like, I've got 2 hours and 25 minutes left in my shift, and I do not get paid enough for this.
It's a good movie. I'm so glad that we watched it.
Mom got some help, though. It seemed like she was struggling with borderline alcoholism.
Yeah, there's like a whole bottle in the trash. I hope she didn't drink all of that in one night, though.
Well, I think that's what they were implying.
Yeah.
And she had more to drink the next night when she was supposed to pick up her daughter and fell asleep on the couch, which is when she got attacked in the first place.
Yeah. Super good movie. Just be prepared for like cringiness and unrealism and stereotypes. In one aspect, it works against the movie, but then in other aspects, it works towards it. So I don't know. It's just kind of it's a strange movie, but I liked it. I really liked it.
It was a great dynamic. It was really fun to watch. It was very entertaining. It was very funny. Very, very funny.
Yes. Yeah, there's not many horror comedies that make me laugh like this movie did. Like, this gave me a laugh.
To the point where we were wanting to rewatch certain things over and over. So, if you haven't seen it already, guys, why are you listening to us first?
Go watch it. Go watch the movie.
Go watch it now. If you've already seen it, rewatch it again. I know we will. So, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, just, guys, as always, just, let us know what you liked about the movie, what you didn't like, if you thought the stereotypes in the movie were obnoxious, or if you thought that they were kind of like fun and a part of the movie. We would love to hear your thoughts as well.
Absolutely. If you have any other requests too, please feel free to let us know. We're always looking for other movies to watch and review. And as always, guys, till the next time, stay safe and stay spoopy. Bye.
Bye.